Choose to look the other way, but you can never say you did not know. William Wilberforce made this statement referring to the slave trade in the 1700s. He made a great effort in the abolition of slavery, and because of this, I believe he is one of the greatest people of all time. I have been passionate about the slavery since I was in middle school. Ever since then, the Lord has laid it on my heart to help in any way that I can to help put an end to human trafficking. I have experienced the abolition of slavery everywhere I go, but not many people realize that it is still going on today. Today I will discuss exactly what slavery is. Secondly, I will discuss William Wilberforce's movement in the abolition of slavery. Over the centuries, slavery has entrapped many, beginning in biblical times and continuing in our world today. The Abolition Project defines slavery as a state in which a slave is to be owned by another person. A slave is a human being classed as property and forced to work for nothing. There is also a difference between a slave and a chattel slave. A chattel slaves are treated as property to be bought, traded, and sold. In the 1600s, slavery became excessively more popular as the Underground Railroad was built, with about 12 million Africans were transported across the Atlantic to the Western Hemisphere. It was not until 1807 that the abolition movement began. However, it took another 20 years to abolish the trade in the British colonies. William Wilberforce is the one who made the greatest efforts in ending the slave trade. William Wilberforce was born in 1759 in Hull. He attended Cambridge University and was soon elected a member of Parliament. It was not until 1783 that he first discussed this issue on slavery and considered leaving Parliament after his conversion to evangelical Christianity. In 1787, William met Thomas Clarkson, who called upon William with a copy of his essay on slavery. After this, a collaboration was formed to abolish the slavery. During the late 1700s, William was committed to the abolition of slavery. After many efforts with the Privacy Council in presenting bills to Parliament, William gave a speech in 1789 called the Abolition Speech. During this speech, he painted a visual picture for Parliament so that they can understand what it looked like on boats for slaves as they were transported across the Atlantic. After many years of William's effort, on March 25, 1807, the Abolition of the Slave Trade Act abolished the slave trade in the British colonies, supported by 267 votes. Sadly, though, this was not a vote to end slavery in the empire, just a trade of enslaved people. William forcefully continued to work on the abolition of slavery within the British colonies. 20 years later, after campaigning and resigning from Parliament, they still refused to ban slavery. William Wilberforce wrote one last petition to Parliament, and after 3 months of debate on July 26, 1833, the Abolition of Slavery Bill passed its third reading in the House of Commons. After all these years, William's work and dedication paid off. William's efforts and dedication saved lives of hundreds of slaves, and he made a great stand on his beliefs despite the negativity of the subject that he received. William's efforts are still noticed today in modern times. Human trafficking has become a rising issue, and not many understand that there is a modern-day slave trade. William Wilberforce is one of the greatest people because of his efforts and enthusiasm in making sure that the abolition of slavery happened. This is shown not only through his efforts marking over 30 years, but in the fact that 3 days after the final abolition of slavery bill passed, William Wilberforce passed away. William started a great movement in Britain that soon carried many years later to the States, where Abraham Lincoln would lead a great movement in ending slavery in America. You may choose to look the other way, but you can never say again that you did not know. William lived this in his life, a way that you would know he was making a difference and made sure that others acknowledged things that were wrong, giving them a chance to make a change or look away. For this, I conclude that William Wilberforce is one of the greatest people of all time. Any questions?
So what year was it that you finally got had the bill passed so there would be no more slavery?
1833.
We worked on it a long time, it sounds like.
Over 30 years. Any more questions?